Welcome to Guiding Light webinar, which is going to be led by Dr. Simmy today, who's a PCC coach. And very grateful to Coach Shrikant and Lakshan for having created this platform for all of us to learn, grow, connect, and hold each other together. I think that's so important. Otherwise, it can be a very lonely journey. So, to introduce Dr. Simmy, Dr. Simmy, okay, I am, as you say, my name is Manmeet. I am a coach who marries writing into coaching. And Dr. Simi is a coach who married her medical profession into coaching. So she has been a physician and a healthcare professional for 18 long years, worked with various national and international organizations, till she had this epiphany, aha moment, and enlightenment that she needs to take on the path of coaching in 2023. She became a certified coach. She's presently a PCC coach. And in her language, she helps women find the glitch in the matrix, which means she helps them find clarity, work on their mindset, and propels them into action. So she's completely devoted to women. Not that men are not welcome, but that's her calling. So here is Simi with us to guide us in this coaching journey, particularly when it comes to setting up our practice. Now, that was the formal introduction. And also, Simi is an author and a speaker, by the way. And she is also my coach for more than a year now. So I owe my compass to her, my alignment to her. So grateful. And I love her to the core. So there's a poem which Simi shared with me. I felt that was a more befitting introduction to this wonderful coach that we're going to meet today. So I'm going to read out that poem with me. If you can close your eyes and listen to the words, I think it somewhere leads a deeper impact, but I leave that choice to you. It's not mandatory. This is how the poem goes. Challenges broke me, shattered my soul, like waves that crash and take their toll. People, like storms, cut deep. Their tides leave scars, but through the tempest, I found my stars. Physical wounds, mental abuse, emotional currents, financial misuse. Exhausted and tossed on the endless sea, I held my course. I sailed free. Anger rises as boundaries blur. Lost at sea, unsure where to steer. But when I break, scattered and won, I chart a new path, reborn. Every storm sparks my flame, a compass guiding me through the pain. It tried to drown my light in the dark, but couldn't extinguish my inner spark. So I thank those tempests that tossed my boat. Each wave and gale kept me afloat. With gratitude, I claim the helm, captain of my ocean real. Giving you a few seconds to soak in this powerful piece written by Simi. And I want to just bring this for all of you that if you're going through a tempest, a storm, if the waves are tossing your boat right now, be grateful to the storm, to those waves. They are here for a reason. And you're here at the right place because here is somebody who has already been steering her boat with a lot of success. And she's more than happy to share her success with you and all the stuff that she's learned. There's a little story I want to begin with, and I'll let Simi complete that story and take on the webinar for all of you. So, when Simi was a half years old, she was living in a town called Reddy in Maharashtra. A bright student, academically doing very well for herself, when her parents decided to move to Goa for better education. Now, this little girl did not know a single word of English. She had not been exposed to the language. And in her neighborhood, in her school, all that people spoke was English. She was lost. She didn't know what to do, where to start, how to find a way. Something very similar to we coaches experience, no? How do I begin? How do I get this language that people understand? How do we explain what coaching is? I mean, at least I have struggled a lot with that. So she found herself at the gates of Miss Felicia. I hope I'm pronouncing the name correct, and Simi can correct me later if it was wrong. So she happened to be a teacher in her school. And standing at the gate, she found herself lost, worried. Will this teacher love me, hate me, laugh at me? How will she even teach me? Am I going to make a fool out of myself? And when Simi shared this with me, I realized, oh, that's the exact questions I went through when I started my coaching journey. I'm going to fool myself, jumping into this vast ocean, knowing not where I'm going. But then a person like Miss Felicia and Uncle John, now who's Uncle John? You'll soon discover, do come our way. And for me, Simi has been that Miss Felicia. And she's going to be that Miss Felicia for all of you today for the next 1 hour or so. So thank you so much, Simi. I love you for who you are. And over to you.
Thank you, Manmeet. Thank you to everyone who heard the poem. Thank you to all of you who have joined in today. And I'm sure you are feeling just like me, as I felt when I was 6 years old, standing at the gate of Miss Felicia. That is how it is pronounced, Miss Felicia. And Uncle John happened to be her husband, and I called him Uncle John, and he was a accomplished marine engineer. Tongue tied, not knowing English, the only languages I spoke was Hindi, Marathi. Since Reddy was in Maharashtra, I knew Marathi and Maithili, which is my mother tongue. And in Goa, people used to speak Konkani and English very fluently. Standing at the gate, I was very lost, but then I was led in, and over a few months in that house, I started learning the language. And Uncle John, being a seafarer, had deep love for Japan. It was one of his favorite countries, and I learned ikebana, origami, so much about the Japanese culture. And so much so that I have a painting behind of Mount Fuji with cherry blossoms. That's my anchor point. And they were the ones who fashioned me into the person I am right in my early years. Something very similar happened after, when through my medical practice, when I was moving to coaching, I felt a very similar sensation in my body. And I realized it was the same 6-year-old who was standing very lost at the gates, not understanding what to do, how to go about. Then Uncle John was a seafarer, and he had this beautiful compass in his, uh, you know, living room. And something just reminded me of that compass. That is why when I started my coaching journey, all I knew was my purpose, that was, helping women out. That is how it began. And this whole coach's compass came together only after I got my PCC, that I felt that something must now come together to help fellow coaches. And what it should be, it took shape over a few months. So, this is the reason why this is called Coach's Compass and nothing else. It's a tribute to the two earliest teachers in my life. Uncle John is no more. Miss Felicia is there. I have hugged her last year. I'll be hugging her this year when I visit Goa. And this lot of things which I will share today, I will share how the inspiration came in so that you can also tune into that. I know how it feels that you are certified and or you're not certified, you're still on the journey, and then you're looking for things like clients. Where are they? What are they? How do I reach them? How do I approach them? How do I clock in my hours? How do I get with my credentials? Will having credentials change for me? So on and so forth. It's like an endless array of questions that go on. With all that in mind, I'm beginning the presentation, the a coach's compass. And If you all have questions coming along, which they will, like those waves in which we are going to sail today in the ocean, just with a compass in hand, please keep them with you. I'll take them all and I'll sit with you to explain all your doubts that are coming in. And with that, today I'm starting the presentation. Be with me as we go ahead. So, Coach's Compass. Now, this has a very simple framework: who, what, where, how, and why. Just like when you hold a compass, you see there are two needles intersecting, pointing to four directions, north being always your guiding light, and Y is the pin on which those two needles are held. So when you begin your coaching journey as an entrepreneur, as a business person, which we all have somewhere deep down in our hearts, or even we want to, chart our way forward, there has to be an idea: how am I going to go about it? I see most of the coaches struggling. I have spoken to more than 100 coaches in last 2 years, and more so in last 1 year, and everybody has their own ways of moving ahead in this world of coaching. And I realize that pretty much everybody is lost, trust me. I saw something very interesting. There are coaches, brilliant, wonderful coaches, who tell us how to deepen our practice, how to improve as a coach, how to get better as a coach. And there are a group of coaches who call themselves the business coaches who tell you that I will show you how to get the clients. Am I right on this? You can share in the chat box. So you see this mostly on LinkedIn, I'm talking about. The interesting part is when you bring the two together and you ask them, where are the clients in both these cases? There's pretty much silence. So you have wonderful coaches churning out more coaches, and then you have this business coaches telling you, I get the clients. So the thing is, one thing that is missing is that where is that coach who has the clients and who will tell you, this is the way you do it? That is what is lacking in a very, very big way. There are so many coaches who are doing well, and when I reached out to them that how you go about, they were very vague answers. Manmeet knows, and I know that we both together believe in abundance. There is no scarcity mindset. Millions of people, so little coaches, and yet why are you not sharing the information? Why are you not helping? Why is this, gap so wide and bright? Fine, okay, that is one part of it. The second part is, I'm a doctor by profession, and I strictly believe in technical expertise when you're reaching out to anybody to help them out. I mean, as a coach, we treat on minds. So there is a huge dilution about not very good coaches who seem to be, hitting the social media in a big way, and the best of the ones are hardly there. That part is also very painful. So, what is that which will give you confidence to go out and establish a world of your own? This is how the framework came up together. So stay with me. And there is one very important thing that is missing in this, and I'll share you why that is missing later on. So we begin with the first thing, that is who. Irrespective of what background you're coming from which coaching school you are, whether you're from the portfolio path or from a proper full-fledged institute, you're certified, everybody talks about the niche. Have a niche, have a niche, have a niche. You must begin somewhere. Before you jump onto the niche, which is important, totally important, it's very important that you define yourself. Who am I? Take a piece of paper, identify who you are as a coach. You hear all this: executive coach, corporate coach, business coach, transformational coach, mindset coach, lots of things. But more than that, who are you as your coach comes from three powerful things which help me. And that is first and foremost your values. What values you hold very dear to you. Second is your strength. And third is your unique experiences. If you begin with this, trust me, more than half of your work is done when it comes to crafting your niche, your values, strengths, and experiences. Based on that, once you have found out what this is, then you define your niche by pinpointing a specific group you're best equipped to serve, where your expertise lies, passion lies, and where the market is intersecting. To put my example simple forward, when I wrote about my values, there was a strong sense of independence, confidence, family values. My strengths are speaking, listening, deep empathy, and my experiences as a bride, as a mother, as a woman juggling, you know, emergencies and family, all those experiences I put forward. So I identified my group as women, and with my expertise and passion, I realized women who are undergoing different stages of transition is where I begin my journey. This is how Speak to Simi was born. I was very clear about this. Every experience became a story, and that is how my journey began. So, this question, who is my ideal client, is very, very important. And if you really want to know who your ideal client is, stand in front of the mirror. Look at yourself. There's something about you that drove you to coaching, and that is who your ideal client is. And it could be more than that, but this is a good point to begin. You are your ideal client. So, who are you to begin with? And the second most important thing, who am I not suited to serve? There is certain segment about whom you will truly not be comfortable or confident about. Don't go on those paths because it will only confuse you, pull you down, bring all the fears alive. So, at least when you're beginning, be very, very clear that who is my ideal client and who am I not suited to serve. This clarity will help you focus your efforts in the right way and become the compass guiding the right clients to change. Because no matter what we believe in, every client who walks into your space is looking for that change, if not transformation. Something needs to shift in them, right? It could be a routine, it could be life, it could be anything. So, this becomes the starting point of defining who you are. Now, the very interesting part about this niche, sharing my own experience, I began with women, but something very interesting happened around 6 to 8 months later. So, I was coaching women, and towards the end of whatever the programs or sessions we had, before the closing, uh, either their father, brother, or husband would join in out of joy that I'm grateful for what you did to her. There is so much of shift I see. Can you help me out too? That was a very interesting point in my life. And I was, why not? I'm a coach. I can coach anyone. But it's my this is my niche, but that never stopped me from saying yes to them. And there are so many men who are, uh, uh, who signed up for different programs. Something very more interesting happened. These women said that, is there something you can do about kids? Any kind of program that you could craft for kids? So some small little programs began within the ICF framework, but bringing a lot of interactive methodologies which involve, expressive writing, expressive art, and so on and so forth, in which teens enrolled and even sometimes young kids enrolled just to deal with the emotional regulation part. So the fragments of coaching spread out. It started with the niche, but it went out, slowly, steadily into different areas. So niche is where you begin. You stand and say, okay, you have a compass, you begin in a direction. The ocean is wide open. You don't know what you will find in the depths or up in the sky. But this is exactly why a niche is important, somewhere to start. But go ahead in the direction that your heart calls, or the clients will guide you. Trust me, they will lead you, they will want more from you. But you need to begin somewhere. So, this is the who part. I hope things are clear at this point as we go to what. Now, what the client needs and what you offer. Always remember that every client is seeking change, either personal, professional, or situational. Your role as a coach is to discover what your clients truly want to change and customize your services to meet those needs. Now, keep this in mind that ICF also talks about agreement and agreement and agreement. It will keep changing. So, unless and until you have a solid agreement, as Coach Srikantan always says, then you don't know where you're going ahead. So, keep revisiting and be with the client and customize every service that you are providing them. Here, I want to bring in another thing on LinkedIn. You see so many posts on LinkedIn from various coaches who are offering programs which are very fixed. Like, they will say that this is the program I'm starting on so and so date. This is the cohort, join in. And I reached out to many coaches asking them, how does this pan out? Some coaches do very well. Some say it's not always working because this is a generic package which you have crafted out. On the other hand, if you make your flexible coaching solutions, and when I say solutions, these are basically programs which are tailored according to the needs of the client, and you ensure that your service is addressing a very specific pain point of your target audience, it is immediately, it's a point of awakening that, yes, this is what I need. Like the first one post I had written on Facebook and LinkedIn was about how I felt when I joined my work back after the maternity break. And that pain point captured the imagination of women. I brought about the simple story of Rani Lakshmi Bai walking into the battlefield with a baby strapped on her back. And I felt that every woman does that when she goes to her workplace. It was a pain point that women woke up to. What kind of support do you need? What kind of mindset do you need when you're coping up? And that is how the initial onboarding of clients began. So I tailored the experience that a client is undergoing and now a coaching program. Now, to make things interesting, you must have a lot of flexibility. If you start fixed cohorts, people always feel they might be, bound by time or availability, so on and so forth. But when I charted this thing out, I said, I will make myself completely flexible. So even if it's a 6 sessions that I'm offering, I told them that doesn't mean 6 weeks. You can take 2 months, you can take 3 months, but I'm there for you. And that brought a lot of difference. I said, even the hours can change. It's not that you meet me at 5 o'clock. You want to meet at 8 o'clock. You want to meet me at 11 at night, 4 in the morning. I put in all the hard work honestly. Now, yes, sometimes I take my breaks, I have, but in the beginning, I went all guns blazing. I wanted my hours to come through coaching clients and not peer coaching. So I put my hard work into it and I became available for women. So the word went out that she is available as and when you require. And I put this out that, see, I know what it feels like to be a woman. There are no fixed stars in our lives. So I'll be there for you. This sounds like, that you are totally client centric to begin with. That falls very beautifully. Similarly, no matter who your client is, see what you feel you need to tailor to make your programs very attractive to them. And then you will find them that clients keep coming to you again and again. This is one point. This was the what part of it. Now, the biggest question, where are they? Where are the clients? The most interesting part, clients are everywhere. They're online, they're offline. You, as a coach, must develop your presence. The competency number 5 maintains presence is not just for your coaching session. You carry your presence 24 into 7. Every space that you inhabit should be screaming the fact that you're a coach and bring that beauty in. Trust me, you will find clients everywhere. To begin with, you go looking for them. So you go to relevant communities, forums, events where the audience is seeking guidance or support. So we all jumped on LinkedIn, right? We all jumped. I interviewed so many coaches over last 1 year. How many of you truly got your clients from LinkedIn? The answer is resounding minimal clients you get. Minimal, very, very few. So where are they? You see who your ideal client is and you see where they spend time. That is important. My clients, women, juggling so much, you think they spend time on LinkedIn? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. None of them. They are all on Facebook and they are on Instagram. And on Facebook, there are so many forums in which women are pouring their heart out. And I was literally on them for one whole year, understanding what are they posting, what are the pain points. And it's not just divorce. Many people think, oh, you might be getting a lot of divorced women. Absolutely not. There are women who want to save marriages, save their motherhood, and save themselves. So go about looking in those communities, speaking in schools, speaking in institutions. Speaking helps you put out yourself as a coach and whatever forum, and there your audience is sitting who will look up to you and notice you. And this visibility in spaces aligned with your niche attracts leads efficiently and authentically. You will not be spending time on discovery calls, which are just going down the drain. Your time is precious. Every moment is a rupee, and I look at it that way. So you build your visibility. So the next question comes then, what am I doing on LinkedIn? I'm on LinkedIn that when I talk about the coaching program, and if someone somewhere says that, can you share your profile? I direct them there along with my website. So they say, oh, she writes on various topics. She's writing about this, or some interesting articles I share with them. And then they believe in you, they trust you, and that makes this visibility importance. So it's a good platform, but your clients, you really need to think clearly where they exist. And any coach you can ask, they are depending on where their client is, their forum will completely change. Totally different. It is teens or even young adults, they spend time on Insta, so they reach out to me through Instagram, not through LinkedIn. This is the where part. And now the how. So how is very important. We are taught in coaching schools, that okay, sessions and so on, but you have to customize packages. Coaching packages are very, very powerful ways not only to log in your hours, because you say that we can begin with 6 sessions, we can begin with 10 sessions over a period of whatever time. They can be one-on-one group workshops, simply to cater to diverse needs and budgets. There are business coaches saying, oh, this is priced very low. You must be charging 1 lakh. You must be charging, I don't know, all sorts of figures fly high in the air. But everybody has their own needs. Even today, people think 100 times before investing in their own self. They will spend that much money in, eating or maybe dressing up or an entertainment. But when it comes to self work, they are still in doubt. So, creating workshops and group packages helps them know what coaching is. They get an essence of you, and that makes them sign up packages, and that gives you also a great deal of liberty in putting yourself out in a very different manner. So these coaching packages you can create, again depending on what your clients are and how they are. Even if there are clients who don't pay at all, initially I had clients whom I just signed up to deepen my practice, and then all I took from them was a testimonial, a success story, so that there is trust and demonstration in the real impact of your coaching. Today, if you visit my website, you'll get lots of testimonials. You go to TopMate, you'll get 50 plus testimonials. Every client becomes your ambassador in the long run. And you refine your offers based on client feedback so that there is relevance and appeal. Like I told you, I began with women. Now there are programs, catering to professional individuals, men and women, not for their personal issues, but for their professional needs. There is program for young adults who want to do better in their life. For teens, I have an expressive art program ongoing. So this is refined, and there is a lot of work that goes on day-to-day basis to understand how things are moving. So this is important that you create compelling offers, and everything about it begins with a why. You know, when you jump into the sea or maybe the swimming pool, every stroke that you're taking to reach the other end, in between strokes, you are all alone. It's a very, very lonely place to be. At least to begin with, it's very lonely. Now I can say that I have a lot of coaches whom I connect, in a month, and we share our heart out on how things are going. But initially, when I started, it was a very lonely space. All I had every morning when I woke up was my why. That was the heartbeat, and that is the heartbeat of your coaching practice. Why am I here? Define that as early as possible, or otherwise, it can be really very difficult, to deal with this on an everyday basis. The best part is when clients understand your why, they will connect with you wholeheartedly and they will invest. Initially, so many clients used to ask me, Dr. Simi, you're a doctor. Why have you come into this? I had my answer. I had my answer loud and clear, and that answer has not changed one bit. I know why I am here. And each of you should know why you are in this coaching world. And when you define your why and when you have your philosophy out there, it's very, very simple to wake up day to day and keep investing in your own coaching business. And when I say investing, I'm talking about the time that you're investing in. Your purpose becomes your guiding compass, enabling consistent values that are aligned with decisions and sustainable growth. This is not a sprint, it's a marathon. And I don't know what it can turn into. I see myself doing this for years in future, but I should know why I am here. What exactly am I doing? Now, there is one thing that is missing in this whole compass. Can anybody think what is missing? I mean, there is who, what, why, where, everything. So, what's missing? One of the W's. Any thoughts?
Rajneesh is saying when.
Exactly. Thank you, Rajneesh. When? Now I'm very curious. I want to ask you, when should you start your business? Bring your thoughts, then I will share my thoughts also on it. So, when should you start this? You can unmute and answer. Anything? When should this happen? When should you actually start?
So, Simi, I'm reading out some of the responses. I mean, it'll be nice to hear in people's voice as well. As Simi said, you can unmute yourself. So please jump in. Navneetha says, as soon as you understand what coaching is and the four W's, and Ranjana believes ASAP.
Okay.
My personal experience, Simi, is that I think I was at a different confidence cloud. I jumped in and I regretted after 6 months what I had done. I don't know anything. Now, when I look back, I think that was the right thing I did. I wouldn't have known what's rocking my boat till I would have not jumped. So,
Hmm.
whatever mistakes, whatever nonsense I went through, all in the grace, all in sync with the direction.
Wonderful. Any other thoughts?
I think just start is important because clarity
Okay.
will come on the way only.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Clarity will come on the way. I agree. All right. So this is my take on it. And I honor everyone's take so far. We all undergo through a coach training program. Either it's the portfolio path or when you sign up for a coaching program. So there are certain hours, right? So you have 125 hours, 175 hours, right? Then the second part is that you get into peer coaching. Then you have your call assessment done by the mentor. I truly feel that once your call is assessed by the mentor and you have finished your theory part, whatever hours you were supposed to do, you have finished that, and your calls have been assessed by mentor. Whether it is one call, two call, three calls, Like for the PCC, when I did, 3 calls were done. After those 3 calls got checked by the mentor, then there was one-on-one mentoring session that happened. Once that mentoring was over, we got a certificate from the institute that you are done. This varies. In some cases, there is only mentoring, and after that, you log in your hours, your 100 hours, or whatever. The point is that once your theory is complete and once your calls have got checked and mentored, you have that mentoring. That is a good time to enter and begin with. Begin with, and if you truly want to just practice and understand how you are, not with a peer, you can also invite somebody from your family, from your friend circle, that this is something I have started. Would you like to experience it? You can bring in anything, it's confidential. And you also hear yourself as a coach, that how you're doing. But that theory part is done, and at least your mentor has heard you coaching. Because mind you, I'm a doctor, and for me, it's in bold, do no harm. So even before I entered into someone's mind, I wanted to be sure that do no harm. And that fair enough thing came 60 hours into peer coaching, 60 to 70, if I'm not mistaken. And when the certification came from the institute and I was mentored and all, then I felt confident. And then, of course, now, why I say this is whether you are on an ACC path or the PCC path, you have to lock in those many hours. Don't restrain yourself and wait for the credential to begin your business. Let some of those hours come through coaching clients, because trust me, when you sit for the credential exam, it's a very, very different thing. If you have coach clients, you go with a different level of confidence. And if you're gone only through peer coaching, I'm sure you will not feel that confident. There are ifs and buts that will keep happening in your mind, because clients, they present a very real time scenario to you. You visit your own calls and wonder what you asked, how you did, your own competencies. From the business perspective, it hardly matters if you have a credential. Till today, hardly any client has asked me, are you PCC or ACC, except on the coaching platforms where it is mandatory. That to some of them that you have ICF or, any of those recognized. Otherwise, they are not going to ask you. But for your own good, once your calls are mentored and checked, so that at least, you are within your understanding that I cannot harm a client with what I'm doing. I can hold the space. I can give the confidential space. I can provide that space for growth, listen in actively, chart together, partner for a progress, whatever the competencies say. So that is the when you should. You can begin immediately also. There are many people who come from corporate background, who are exposed to coaching, who have done coaching even before getting into a formal coach training. They can go ahead if they feel so. Anybody can go ahead. Nobody stops you. But be wary of this, that when you're getting into the clients, you would like to begin with some sort of technical uh, assurance in your own mind. It's not about the fears, but more understanding the basic technicalities of the competencies. So this is the when, and I kept it out because I think it's your call to take at the end of the day, not mine, not anybody else's. It's totally yours. This is something that defined me, so I put it out. Now, with that comes the next thing. I've just combined the takeaways, for it to be easy. Who is define self before you define niche? Your zone of genius and your ideal client. What the client needs and your offer. Customized client-centered programs where finding the clients, go where your audience is active and engaged. How create compelling offers, value-driven,
Hey,
tailored, trust-building packages.
ಏನಾಗ
And
ಅದನ್ನ ಓಪನ್ ಮಾಡ್ರ
uh, I think someone is unmuted. Can you just mute? Thank you. Why is the purpose-driven setting your mission as a compass for impact and growth? And this framework ensures that your coaching business is not only strategically sound, but also deeply authentic, client-centered, and purpose-driven. Authentic because it is born out of you. You defined yourself and went ahead. So it is very, very driven by who you are and driven towards a client that you want to provide help with. This is where it all began. This is my logo that I designed on myself when I started my platform. Speak to Simmy, stop surviving, start living. And it has a phoenix, that is the person who's undergoing transformation. S is my own initial. And the line that you see is the sacred boundary between the coach and the client. And we are encased in calm. This is the circle of togetherness, of peace, and of joy. And coaching is a lot of fun if you're creative. So I spend almost an hour or so on Canva daily, on other things. I have a friend who has a platform called Voca Tales. I spend time on that, crafting things which make clients look to you and they enjoy the process of coaching. Creativity also helps you maintain your sanity through those quite hours, long hours when you're working in. So get creative. It helps you. Trust me. Now I'm inviting questions. So, okay, before we go to questions, I just wanted to share a small thing. Yes, this is my mentorship program. It's called Sarthi, and I'm a devotee of Lord Krishna. So that is why this name came into being. Sarthi is a mentorship program which is to build a sustainable and impactful coaching business. It's a very personalized mentorship. Again, no group sessions, one on one, 8 sessions with 6 months of support. And I help all the coaches who have signed up to design programs and workshops. And every session is one on one with 60 to 90 minutes. If ever it comes to your mind that you want to brainstorm with me, understand things better, or you need any assistance when you step into the world or improve it or work on it, you're most welcome to reach out. And this is my contact number. I will be sending in the mail afterwards also. And with this, I stop the sharing and I'm inviting everyone to bring on the questions. Anything, ask me. I'm all here.
So, hi, this is Adhishri here. Simi, thank you for the insightful session. I hope you can hear me clearly.
Yes, I can.
Um, yeah, so I think it is to do with the first W, who. Because, for example, I'm so new in this, coaching thing where I'm still going towards my ACC certification.
Mhm.
Uh, how do I even get to the who? Like, how do I know? So I know that you said that, talk to yourself first and see what is your area, look at the mirror and all of that. But I still have a question that the feeling that I get is, oh my God, niche matlab sirf itne se hi log honge versus the whole world who probably, the ocean which is there. So any tips on how should one go about? Because at one point you could even think two or three, but you ultimately have to look at maybe one. So, any
Mhm.
tips on that?
Yes. Now, when you say whom, it's good to, put down all thoughts on a white piece of paper. Just take a piece of paper, put on your values, put on, I think core values is something that is easily available. Pick on, your top 10 values. You can also go through what your strengths are when you look at your own life experiences. And one of the best ways is take your life at whatever age you are and write 5 experiences that you have had in your life, 5 strong experiences that make, that really define your life. And why are those experiences on that piece of paper? There is a pain point behind it. Now, looking at all this, you think of yourself as a coach, you think of who your ideal client should be. Even if you have 3, 4 niches in front of you, that's okay, nothing to worry about that. When you begin, you have to have a starting point. So you can pick among those 3, 4, maybe top two, and then the topmost that, okay, this is where I will start. Simultaneously, you can work on other things, but prepare for this one thing well Because unless you don't have a clear cut starting point, it is going to be very haywire. Trust me. It I started with 7 programs. Okay, 7 programs fitting into the transitions of a woman's life. Different transition, but 7 programs I had. Similarly, you can look at anything and see the pain points and craft programs around those pain points. And when you're even writing a LinkedIn post or a Facebook post, dedicate your own experience or the experience what individuals have and craft it. That connects you to your first client somewhere. And that is how the first client signs in, and the second, and the third, and then the referrals come in. But it is important that you do this work even if you don't know who you are. The moment you sit and start writing, and I'm sure Manmeet will agree that how much writing makes a difference, that you will be able to see for yourself, so many things will emerge out.
No, thank you
Any
so much. So basically, you also mentioned top 10 values, strengths, and the 5 experiences, and then go into developing the niche and figuring it out and shortlisting it, if I've got it
yes,
correctly.
yes,
But start with
absolutely.
one. Okay.
Yeah, let's start with one. Yeah,
Thank you so much.
welcome.
Simi, I have question, or maybe less of a question and more of something which probably nobody is saying out so far, but something that I have experienced. You said jump into the ocean, into the pool, and then there is an end you have to reach to, and it can be pretty lonely in between. I really felt lost if I hadn't found Shrikant, and through Shrikant, you, it was getting very tough for me to stay afloat. What would you say to that period in between?
Right. Like you rightly said, that period in between, when it is very, very dark and quiet, if I may say, one thing that helped me was reaching out to the coaches I trained with. Okay. Having your own little community where you can reach out and communicate with coaches and understand. I also realized at that point that everyone was on their own paths, doing their own things and trying to figure it out. That time, what helped me was watching a lot of master classes. Whatever I used to find on LinkedIn, on coaching, I used to tune into that. And I read a lot of books. And when I say I read, I didn't think about reading coaching books. That happened very late. But anything that aligned with my experiences, I read. From there, the ideas were born. So initial lot of workshops, like I said, when I brought Uncle John's reference, I brought in a lot of concepts from ancient Indian wisdom and from Japanese wisdom, which I converted into workshops. So I had this workshop called Wabi Sabi. So I picked the Wabi Sabi book, and the creativity became my companion. So I sat and crafted different kind of exercises, written audio notes, videos around that, and that became very interesting. So I was no longer lonely. My mind used to be in that creative flow. For me, creativity work. For somebody else was else will something else will work. So maybe being in touch with your mentor is one thing. Having your own little coaching community is one thing. Reading is another thing. Creativity is another thing. That is how you keep going when you start with. There also comes a time when you don't have time for any of this. That's a different story.
I have a
Thank you
Yes,
so
question.
much.
yes, Nitya.
Okay, lovely session, very, very realistic. Uh, could find myself in many of the places many a time. Um, how would you tackle building awareness? You very rightly said, people could be on Facebook and Instagram. Besides a discovery call, how else can you build awareness? I think a lot of people know what is a counselor, but coaching, I think, is still not very, very popular, or people don't know that when they can approach a coach.
Right. So much of the awareness is built by putting out articles and videos. And when I do that, like a lot of many coaches who do it, it's not only, in just a generic form on platforms, but you begin where you are. Like in my community, say, suppose the community of my school or my college or in the medical fraternity, I started putting out a lot of posts and videos exclusively for them. And you have to be very bold and honest that, I have started into this is a skill set, it is different from therapy and counseling and so on and so way, and this is how it is, would you like to experience it? The more people experience coaching, the more referrals come in. They feel that, oh, this is really something different. Many of them have been with counselors, many of them have been with therapists, and some of them have even been with different coaches. So when you put yourself out and they come in, they spread out the awareness for you. There is a period of time, Nitya, when you actually stop doing the work because there are enough of ambassadors you have out there who are speaking on your behalf on a daily basis. So this speak to Simi when I spoke, and everybody says, why the self part is so important. It's very important that you tune into your own self. I asked myself this question: so how would I like people talking about me? And I imagine that one woman is sharing her problem with another and saying, hey, why don't you speak to Simi? That is how Speak to Simi was born. So put soak into yourself, and when you become aware, you will find different ways of creating awareness around your work. And I said, carry your presence with you. And when people become curious, there is something I notice about you. Oh, because I'm a coach. You're a coach? What is that? And you don't need to talk about it. It's a very different specific skill set. You get trained into it and it's very beautiful. Oh, and then you really open the world up to what coaching is all about. Yes, so that's it.
Yeah, can I add?
Yeah.
Yeah. Dr. Simi, this was a very beautiful session as always. It's always lovely to talk to you, as you rightly said, speak to Simi. And I actually got a lot of, insights when I spoke to you last time also, and I think every time when we meet, because you very clearly tell us to remove the blocks whenever we approach someone. When we had our coach training, there were certain mindsets which were made at that time during our training, to be hesitant to, you know allow your services to experience, because that's a lot of there's a lot of misunderstanding. People don't know, people are not aware of coaching unless and until they experience what it is. It's difficult to know also. So allow yourself, because at times when we were undergoing training, somehow maybe I felt it, that the cost factor, the value part is very strongly held, that we need to be appropriately paid and should not lower it, and if we hold it too tightly also with the money part, that brings a lot of block in our head for to allow ourselves to be experienced, and also on the client who is going to pay for our services. So it's important to release that and allow yourself to flow, go with the flow, and speak, allow yourself to experience and speak about your services. That was very important, and that helped me a
That's
lot. That helped me.
true. That is very, very true. And this is, yes, there are a whole set of limiting beliefs which are associated with, and that also has to be worked upon.
Yeah, yeah. In fact, our own beliefs hold us a lot. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Otherwise, ocean is available. Yeah. Thank you.
I'm very tempted to add to what Neetu said. Something again, what Simi said as an opening statement when I began with Sarthi, and she's been generous enough to coach me for more than a year now, and she does it with a lot of generosity. So Simi said, when Neetu was saying about blocks, somewhere we begin to feel like speak to Simi when she said S initial stands for Simi, and it sounds like too much focus on me. It almost can begin to feel narcissist, and that I'm like really putting myself out there. Oh, I'm the coach, I'm the savior, and I'm the Sarthi. If you are not putting yourself out there, you're depriving people of you. So make yourself available to people. And I loved that, that statement changed everything for me. That every time hesitating to put a video or a post or saying, come and meet me, I'm depriving people. And it was completely against the value and my purpose of coaching. I want to be out there creating healing and empowerment for people. And I am doing that myself. So yesterday I watched a movie, those who are Bollywood fans and Hindi speaking community, Aap Jaisa Koi. And there was this one statement in that movie. She says, I was texting to my boyfriend and I said, I'm on the way, and by mistake, I typed I'm in my way. And that statement stayed with me that, while you're on your way, keep checking, are you in your way? You are only one who is depriving yourself from the whole ocean, as Meetu said, and from meeting all those clients who are waiting for you. They're probably dying for help. That's all.
Absolutely, Manmeet. Every time, I always ground myself that even ICF says it's client centric, and all this expertise, all this knowledge, what use it is if it doesn't reach out to them? And the number of people who need the help, they don't even know this exists. That is the sad part of it. And like I said, there are so many people who are going about as coaches and creating more harm than good. And it's neither, it's nothing but getting certified. So all of us who have put in these many hours with time tested frameworks across the world, this is evidence based activity. Put yourself out there and let the world know. It's as simple as that. So I think we are well within our time. And if there are no more questions, Manmeet, I think we can wind up.
I hope this silence is not that you're holding back the questions. Like, Simi would be more than happy if you have even an iota of doubt going on, because it's unbelievable for me that there are no doubts. Doubt is something we all coaches deal with. And when we, cross that bridge, we find ourselves like making ourselves available to people. So just one last call to everyone. Any more questions, please?
I think we are soaking into all the, energy. Do share the details, Dr. Simi, about the program.
Yes, yes, I will. And
Yeah.
I think there's always guiding lights is very kind. There's always a follow up that mail that goes to every registered participant. So I'll be summing up things and also about the program, and I'll send it across to everyone who registered.
Thank you.
Anybody who wants to break the silence and say it out?
Okay, I do that. Ranjana here, and not in a best frame right now. But okay, I'm a full-time trainer with a corporate public sector, and as a part of my being into soft skill training, I took up added credentials of coaching also. Was into coaching and leadership training, completed my ACC, and since then, of course, soon probably my superannuation is round the corner after less than a year. And that is where I've been thinking that, okay, whether to go full time into training freelancer later on, or uh, adding, coaching to it. And that is what has kept me kind of away from taking uh, paid clients outside. So within community, from the organization, from the family and friends. But of course, with family and friends, even though some of the youngsters I have coached, but somewhere from within it was coming that, okay, even if I'm offering, it's a confidential and also people are approaching you, that because you're available. But that hesitancy, that okay, in their mind that okay, I know the secrets, and in my mind that okay, I'm there, knowing it, and I'm not gone full-fledged. So when the answer to when shall I wait for that superannuation, line to begin with, or I keep adding more from the external clients, is always as an overwhelming thought, I would say. So I've been attending the session, wanting to take a plunge to create a platform right now, and yet unsure.
Prathna, what's
It's,
holding you back exactly? There is more to this, I can sense.
uh, I would say little internal conflict between being a full-time freelance trainer versus, coach, because I've been into training for now almost 3 decades.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, and I enjoy that. That's a kind of, something which comes so naturally and into it. And as a, I was into it. So, always people would be approaching after the session for coaching, counseling also, because you are a part of, psychometrics and many other things as well. So people do approach, and being into a full-time job, so that hesitancy and of course the time commitments.
Hmm.
Right.
Right. So, first and foremost, as far as your hesitancy is concerned, it will remain as long as you are not willing to put yourself out there. Like how Manmeet said, you are with dealing with psychometrics, you're dealing with, so many things. For everyone whom you say no, somebody is not getting access to the services that you could possibly provide. It is not about you anymore, it's about them to begin with. That is the first thing. It's always about them. Second, if your week is hectic, you can always see if you could find time on weekends. Like when I began the platform, I was into full time medical practice from morning 7:30 to evening 5:30. So some evening hours here and there, some early morning hours, something on weekends. It has to start somewhere. Now it's full time, full time. I'm dedicated into this. So the starting point can be small. It could be just 1 hour in a week, 2 hours in a week, as simple as that. And ask yourself, is it about you or is it about them? If someone has reached out to you, what are you, stopping them from gaining from you, from your level of expertise? I think that should, be a guiding light to you to walk ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. We'll consider that. And the session, because it came straight from your heart, so it straight away felt very relatable. And thank you for that. It
Thank
always,
you.
and thank you, Manmeet, for also, facilitating and bringing out that very beautifully. Thank you, Dawson.
Thank you.
Do we have more questions? See, each question is also an insight. Like, I loved how Simmy says, it's not about you, it's about them. I think there's something on the post-it written here for me. My purpose is bigger than me. I think again and again, I have to remind myself these fears are stemming out of our ego and our I. And while the whole purpose of coaching is about being client centric and being available to them. Um, any more questions? Should we call it
No,
a day?
yeah, I think to each of you, you can send messages on WhatsApp, on LinkedIn, or anywhere if some thoughts do come later on, because a lot of people have a lot of questions, I know. So whenever you're comfortable, you can share and we can always connect and have a conversation about it.
Thank you so much for offering that space, Simi. And somewhere Simi said, right in the beginning, there are coaches called business coaches who get you clients. I get a message on an average every day on LinkedIn, and I hate those messages. And then there are coaches who train you to be better coaches. And thanks to people like Shrikant who exist in our life, while we are, that's going to be an ever going journey, the journey of mastery. Who are the people who are holding your hand to tell you how to get the clients and keep going on the path of mastery? I'm so grateful to you, Simi, that your rich experience from the past 2 years, you did not hold back anything. There's enough for everybody in the world. You really operated from there and you put it out there for us coaches. Come on, learn from each other's experience and take it forward. And that's the way it should be. While we get into the should, not many people out there are to share their experience. So I'm expressing this gratitude on behalf of everybody present here that be it tailoring your programs, finding packages, because we also get very limited with the ICF framework. Maybe I'm not doing it the right way. Maybe I shouldn't be that way. So you broke all those molds for us and you really opened doors for us. Very, very grateful on behalf of everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Manmeet. Thank you. We know how abundant this universe is. And we also know that there are so many people who are actually waiting and looking out. So when I stood in front of the mirror, more than the ideal client, I became the person whom I deeply wanted in my life once upon a time. I became that person. And I'm existing in that space from that moment on, the help that I never found. And I hope that each of you become similarly. And this world will eventually be a very beautiful place. Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks a lot for joining in.
Ami